What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to talk about Social Security, and we're going to talk about Ron DeSantis. So he is running for president. He hasn't officially announced it yet, but he will be running for president. He'll be running primarily against President Trump, former President Trump. That's going to be the head-to-head that we're anticipating. And I want to talk about him and Social Security because he's had his opinions when it's come to Social Security and Medicare. And so we're going to focus on those in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, follow me on Twitter at the TEC Show Live, and I will post videos over there. I'll repost the videos that I post on YouTube on Twitter, so you'll get notifications there. And I'm still having people let me know that they're not getting notified on YouTube. Now, I've been working with YouTube for a while trying to get this resolved, and most people are telling me now that they are getting notified. But if you are still one of those people that's not getting notified, let me know in the comments below. And also, like I said, follow me on Twitter. You'll get a notification over there, so you'll at least know that I'm still posting videos. And every day, come back every day because I'll be posting a video. So just know that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play this clip. Now, I'm going to play this first, and then we'll go back and we'll play it again because there are certain parts of this clip that I want to focus on. But he's talking about Medicare, and he's talking about Social Security. Here we go.
If you're talking about a debt crisis or something, I mean, it's not just what you're doing right now, but it's also people are going to look to see what's going on in the future, and that's where it really gets bad for us. So I would embrace proposals, like Paul Ryan offered and other people have offered that are going to provide some market forces in there, more consumer choice, and make it so that it's not just basically a system that's gonna be bankrupt when you have new people coming into it. Social Security, I would do the same thing. Social Security is actually not as bad as Medicare in the sense that, it had been running surpluses for a long time. Now it's running a deficit, so there's nothing left in Social Security. It's guys like me pay into it, and then people who are on Social Security, the check immediately goes out to them. We're now taking in less than the checks are going out. And so I think for people in my generation, my life expectancy, and again, I wouldn't change it for people who are on it now, but my life expectancy is, it's improved. I was born in '78, and it's probably improved 5 or 6 years just on average. That tends to annoy people when I tell them I'm going to be around for a few more years longer, but it's true. And so, me getting Social Security at 65 or 67, if I'm going to live, into my 80s, is probably not sustainable. When Social Security was created, the age that you received the benefit was actually higher than the life expectancy was, and so it was kind of a can't-lose system from the government's perspective. They taxed everyone 1%, and a lot of people didn't end up getting anything. And I don't know if that was just the way because they wanted it to eventually evolve in the way it is now, but the system was not originally designed for people to be on it for 30 years. So we just have to understand that it's a mathematical problem, and to allow people like me who have a lot longer to go to be able to, to make some changes.
Okay, so that was the clip there. Now, it didn't end. I got this off Twitter. I couldn't find the full clip. And if I find the full clip in the future, I will play that. But you heard him talking there about Social Security and Medicare. Now, there are a few things that he said that were really eye-openers to me. Okay, so the first thing that I want to address when it comes to Ron DeSantis, and he's talking about him getting Social Security when he's of age to get Social Security, it's probably not going to be sustainable. That is not true. We know it's going to be sustainable. They've already looked at the numbers, so they know that Social Security will still be around. However, there will be a cut if they don't do anything right now with Social Security. Now, this video was not yesterday, okay? This video was taken had to be between 2013 and 2018. I don't know the exact date of the video, but I know it was around that time because this is when he was a congressman. And his opinion as a congressman, he wanted to make cuts to Social Security. And that's why he's talking about making cuts to Social Security as well as Medicare. But I just found it very interesting that he's talking about this Social Security and saying it's probably not going to be sustainable. And by him saying it's probably not going to be sustainable, he's letting you know that he doesn't have the information. He's just guessing that it will not be there for him. But we know the reality. We know it will be there. And I keep pushing back. Anytime I hear politicians say it's probably not going to be here, or Social Security is going bankrupt and all this, I always push back because this is something that the public needs to know. They need to know that Social Security will still be there for them. And they need to know that when politicians start talking about it going bankrupt and things like that, the only reason they're saying that is because they want to do away with the program. They're saying it doesn't work. It's going bankrupt. We need to privatize it. We need to do something else with it. And that's why I push back anytime politicians say that, because they're not being honest with you. They're talking about the trust fund and the trust fund only. Now, he addressed the trust fund as well, and he's right. We did have a surplus at one time where they were bringing in more money than they were actually spending on Social Security benefits, and that was good. Now we're not in that situation. Now, since I think 2010, we've been at a point where Social Security, the Social Security Trust Fund, has to offset the money that is not coming in directly from Social Security payroll tax. And so it was designed that way. That's why they had the trust fund. That's why they kept the money in the trust fund, because at some point you could get to a situation where you have to draw from the trust fund. So it was designed that way. And then another thing he talked about, and I thought this was pretty insensitive the way he was saying this, he was talking about Social Security. Actually, I'll play the clip and then we'll come back and take a look. Here we go.
The age that you received the benefit was actually higher than the life expectancy was, and so it was kind of a can't lose system from the government's perspective. They taxed everyone 1%, and a lot of people didn't end up getting anything. And I don't know if that was just the way because they wanted it eventually all the way it is now, but I mean, the system was not originally designed for people to be on it for 30 years. So we just have to understand that it's a mathematical problem, and to allow people like me who have a lot longer to go to be able to, to make some changes.
And so you saw that last part where he was talking about you have some people paying into Social Security and they die before they can even start collecting. And he was laughing when he was saying it, which is really sad. I mean, it really is. And you have people today that are in the same situation. They might work 20, 30, 40 years paying into a payroll tax and not get to the point where they can start collecting on Social Security because they die before that. But to hear a politician laughing about a situation like that, it's really sad. It really is. And so one of the main reasons, like I said, I'm following all the different politicians that are going to be running for president because this matters. This matters when it comes to Social Security. If they don't do anything, if Congress can't do anything this year when it comes to Social Security, we're going to have either President Biden will win re-election or we're going to have a new president. And if we have a new president, we need to know how they feel about Social Security. We need to know how they feel about Medicare. And right now, Ron DeSantis is one of the front runners. I mean, he's probably the biggest opposition to former President Trump. And so we need to know how he feels about Social Security. And right now, we don't have all the details as far as what he would want to do with Social Security, but we do know that he is in favor of making cuts to Social Security and making cuts to Medicare. And he is one of the believers that Social Security will not be around for people around his age or less. So it's very important that we know how they feel about Social Security. Now, he did say that they don't want to touch Social Security for people who are currently receiving it. But I'm always skeptical when I hear politicians say that, because if you are talking about privatizing Social Security, doing things like that, then there are probably going to be some type of cuts to people who are currently receiving Social Security, because you're going to have less money coming in. Because if you privatize it, you're going to allow people who are younger to invest some of their money that they're bringing in through the payroll tax. They're going to invest it on their own. So they're going to be taking that money out of the system, out of Social Security. And so that would mean that eventually there are going to be some cuts for people who are currently receiving benefits. So anytime I hear politicians talk about we're not going to touch people who are currently receiving Social Security, I'm a little bit skeptical, because I know that some of the plans that they're in favor of will actually cut Social Security, or it will drain the trust fund a lot faster. And if that happens, then eventually we'll get to that point where they're either going to have to raise taxes or they're going to have to make some cuts to Social Security and Medicare. So if you guys have any questions, let me know down below. And I also want to know what you guys think about this. And also, if you see any clips, any politicians talking about cutting Social Security or even expanding Social Security, email them to me. If you email them to me, then I'll put it in future videos. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.